The same was true of the early electronic music realm. Electronic musicians were engineers. They had to create their own instruments and solder their own circuits before they could create any sound. Pulling that thread to the modern day at the intersection of art and technology to spark the imagination, to instill a sense of creativity, and to create beautiful music is my friend. People call him the fourth Beastie Boy because he was on almost every record. Played with David Byrne, co-wrote songs with Beck, released very amazing albums, starting with Money Mark's Keyboard Repair, that I can't recommend highly enough. Musician, maker, creator, artist, engineer, and all-around sweet, sweet person. My friend Money Mark.
All right. I like that last thing, sweet person. That we should all strive for that, right? I see a lot of sweet people here today. Oh, whoa. So yeah, I'm almost set up here, but I want to show you something. We have, I brought this drum machine here. Oh, you just saw it play, right? I'm having problems with the snare there, but and maybe someone can come up and help me do this, play this machine while we can do a little collabo thing, okay? Here's where it all starts. This is where it all starts. My mother was from a family of musicians in South Texas, and my father was from a family of engineers, and he was an electronic engineer. And so when I was born, I was just born into this, I guess. So I smashed music and electronics together, and my ideas just exploded. I found John Cage, and I just kept going and going down this path, and I'm way down the path now. Yeah, I'm a little, what I was thinking was all of the stuff, all the digital stuff that's here, and all the computers and all of the ideas of computation, it's 200 years old as far as I know, and maybe it's probably like a long thousands and thousands of years old. But I cite Jacquard, the person who made the loom and used punch cards to make fabric in 1801. And then from there, mechanical music started to get really popular with this technology. And then around the turn of the century, there was a player piano that was invented, and I think there were 30,000 player pianos in the United States in the home. Well, just like a karaoke machine from 100 years ago. This roll right here happens to be a performance of the amazing composer, pianist U.B. Blake. And this one, it's not as old as the Debussy rolls that I'm locating, who actually performed his pieces on these on this, let's call it software. It's basically a MIDI protocol. If anyone, are there musicians out there? I'm sure there's lots. It's basically a MIDI protocol. She raised her hand holding a hamburger, and I thought that this music couldn't be played unless there was a new interface, so I made this interface here. So this roll is now going to play through this polysynth. And it could be any polysynth. There was a record called Switched on Bach where Wendy Carlos performed the Bach, a lot of the Bach fugues on the Moog Modular. And Walter Sear also did an amazing live performance in New York City. And all that stuff is on YouTube. I don't have any cool graphics to show you, but these are my cool little things to look at. Normally that drum machine would be sitting on the ground, so that speaks to mechanical music too. The idea of the drum machine came from this, and it came from this idea of binary. This was essentially when my father learned that I wanted to be a musician. He wanted to be part of my life, but that was, my mom's world, and he said, he said that if you bought a keyboard, I'm gonna take it apart and I'm gonna show you how it works. And I was really frustrated with this idea because I just wanted to play in my rock band. So he made this little gadget for me. He was a fan of this band called the Silver Apples in 1971, New York City. John Lennon said it was his favorite band. It's basically, this is not the original radio that he used. I lost it in the mix, but I used this one to illustrate that music can be anywhere and everywhere. And that's what he was trying to teach me, this idea of binary, and that music is everywhere. And it speaks to all of these, all the things digital, that they're on or off. So I'm going to wind this up because I'm charging the batteries here. I use this one so I don't have to use batteries. So now it's coming on, and when I hold down the paddle, which is a Morse code paddle, I've seen some Morse code people back there too, who are doing cool stuff. I've seen some model train people too, which, well, I'll get to that. So yeah, when I hold down the paddle, like...
Easier than ever for everyone to get the newest Nissan technologies today.
That's cool. Let me find a song.
Including the...
I'm gonna find a cool song. I don't know the radio stations at. Alright, let's find it over here. So yeah, this is the idea. This is essentially my first musical instrument. I'm shouting. Here we go. If I could find a cool song. Talking is awful. Yeah, I was having fun. I was in my room playing my radio. And then it came to this idea of, I discovered drum machines, and I could just be by myself and playing my drum machine. So I found some drum machines. Yeah. And everything was battery operated. In fact, all of this, most of it is 12 volts, which I learned about 12 volt technology because I was fixing cars. I was changing the oil in my spark plug in my old Ford, and everything was 12 volts. So I learned how to use 12 volts and everything. So everything is, in my world, is 12 volts. So in this case, there's a drum machine taped to the back of this thing here, and we're gonna hear it right now. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. This allowed me to like be in my room playing music with a drummer now. So then I put an echo on the side there, and I have this microphone, and then it allowed me to make feedback, and then I was able to make songs essentially. Pretty cool, right? And then I put this echo thing here. I won first place in my science class for doing this. Thanks to my father. So yeah, cool. Music is everywhere. And because music is everywhere, And maybe we don't notice it, but there's patterns, and Jacquard made the fabric, and he made these patterns go by. And those patterns were essentially music when you look at them. So now I'm going to play this for you. I'm going to just jump right to it. You've already heard that, but maybe we'll have a little jam session at the end there. What do you think about that? Yeah, I like your enthusiasm. All right, so I'm going to plug in. This is this is converted to MIDI, to modern MIDI protocol, which was invented in 1979. Essentially, what happened was this technology and the MIDI, and the invention of MIDI never met each other, and I don't know if anyone put it together. So I took about 35 years out of last century, and then smashed it together. Okay, let's see if this is working now. And that's working, and that's working, and that's working. And I need my power cable. Where's my power? I'll see you later. I'll be right back. So, it's over here. I got it. I'm back. I'm getting exercise during this show. This is really, this is actually my formal debut for this Echelonian thing. You're seeing it for the first time. It's the first group of people to actually witness it. All right, here we go. Now, I can play keyboard. Oh, there was a cool piano that lit up in there. Did you guys see that? That's awesome, right? Yeah, I can hook that up to that. Man, I gotta talk to that person. Let's get, okay. Let's hear it with this sound. Okay, so now, this technology, when we talk about amplification, we think of electronics, but amplification can be any of the, the 6 machines supply this idea. But amplification in this, there's a wedge and a bellow, is air. Air pressure is a bellow and a bigger bellow and a bigger bellow. So there was amplification with a big air pressure, a vacuum pressure that is, and it was pulling, and that would close these other little bellows. So, and those little bellows closing were the hammers inside the piano hitting the keys. And so what I did was, on each of those bellows, I put a sensor, and then I hacked into a MIDI keyboard, a Casio, that is. I added a motor to the spindle, so because there was a cam system motor using air pressure to turn the piano roll on the spindle, and then I use this 12-volt train, model train transformer thing here to make this happen here, and I got to plug that one in too. I forgot. Here we go. And so, in order to, here we go. The idea was that I wanted to make this interface which spoke to the idea of public space, and carrying a player piano around wasn't that practical. And so now I have an air pump creating the air pressure, the vacuum pressure, it's pulling. And then over here, there's an electric motor. And let's see if this thing's gonna work. I don't know if it works. Okay, let's turn this on. And, it's going the wrong way. Going the wrong way, direction. And that's why I use the train model, the train motors, because they have direction. You know, the train goes back and forth. So, turn that on. All right, now we're gonna go forward. And we're gonna hear this thing. Hopefully, please work. Oh yes, there we go. All right, and here's that. Let's see if this is. You're gonna hear. No. Oh, it's going slow. Actually, now I can speed it up. Okay.
Caddyshack thing.
Let's see if it works. So it's doing it now. And now I'm going to change the sound there. Just because I have limited time, I would play the whole song for you at another time. But I'm going to show you what is possible now. As there's actually a project now that I'm doing with the files that I get from these 100-plus-year-old performances, and I'm giving them to people, synth programmers, to create new music. Does that sound cool? Yes, it is cool. I think, I hope. All right, we're gonna keep listening to this piece. The intro. Oh, it's too loud for you? Okay, I'm going to change the sound now. Oh, that's weird. I don't know if you Blake would like that. Let's go back to that. All right, I've got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to show you something that is now possible with this machine, that you can actually play it. Wow, cool. This is in the early stages. This is a prototype, so it's going to happen in a few months. We're making a brand new one. I've got 1 minute. I'm going to show you the automation of the drum machine, and it goes like this. We can program beats in this thing, and all right, thank you guys. Oh, that was exhausting. This is my workout for the morning. You guys have a great time. It's an honor to be here. Oh, the guy in the big truck. Wow. All right, you guys have a great day. Thank you so much. Thank you, David, for that intro. Thank you, Maker Faire. Thank you, everyone.